Hi, Scorpio rising sign. Here is your weekly forecast starting on the 20th of May until the 26th. So this is a super important week. We have got your nodal axis getting triggered in your fifth and 11th house by all the personal planets. Now, the traditional ruler of your chart is Mars, the modern ruler is Pluto, and they are actually in a square. They are kind of like locking horns in a very, very brutal square. So this week is a bit of a boiling point for you. And with the nodal axis sitting at the final degrees of your fifth house and 11th house, your entire focus on joy, personal creation, your alignment with your social circles, your collective goals is facing kind of like a final cosmic audit. So let's break it down for you. I think you are no stranger to intensity, but right now the universe is asking you to surrender your ultimate weapon, which is control. So from May 20, we are stepping onto this massive karmic tripwire. The nodes of fate are sitting at the very final critical degrees of your fifth and 11th houses. Imagine that as a final exam regarding your creative destiny, your children, your joy, the crowds you hang out with, the supporters that you have in life. And to make things even wilder, your two rulers, Mars and Pluto, are about to go to war in a very harsh square that will force you out of your shadows. So the very first stop is on the 20th, when Mars in Taurus is in your seventh house, it's making a sextile to Venus in your ninth house. And imagine that as being the calm before the storm. It centers completely on your relationships. Mars in Taurus gives you a steady, deeply committed drive to work on your primary partnerships, on your contractual agreements. Meanwhile, Venus in your ninth house brings that nurturing, deeply philosophical tone to your beliefs, to your belief system, or even long distance plans. This is actually an incredible day to have an honest, grounded talk with a spouse, with a business partner about the future, or close collaborators as well. You can build something highly lucrative, something stable together right now because the emotional and the physical safety is actually aligned in your chart. Um, Take the win today because the pressure is going to start building up after this, though. Now, May 22nd is a massive day. We have got Venus in trine to the nodes, a trine to your north node in the fifth house, and the sextile to your south node in the 11th house. So this is a bit of a green light for your personal joy. It is telling you that you are allowed to have fun. It is about working through maybe intimacy issues, or maybe you have got these creative breakthroughs. Maybe you have got this intuitive download about taking risks or about an investment, or maybe if you are single, this is a fated romantic encounter that could show up. Mercury in Gemini sextiles your Saturn in Aries, which is in your sixth house. And Mercury in Gemini in your eighth house is thinking about bonds and intimacy and psychological experiences. Mercury gives you kind of that razor sharp, clinical kind of mind, while Saturn stabilizes your sixth house of daily work and physical health. So this is again a perfect window to audit your finances, organizing your debts, sign legal agreements regarding property, for example, or structure and operational routine, or even working through body transformation, working through psychological stress. Sun makes a conjunction to Uranus, also in your eighth house, and that's a bit of a lightning bolt to your financial sector or even your intimate relationship, really. So expect sudden shocking news regarding an inheritance, a partner's income might be changing for the better or for the worse, it depends. Sudden news about tax matter or a sudden psychological breakthrough that fundamentally frees you from potentially an old phobia. On the very same day, Venus, though, is in square to Neptune. And Neptune is in your sixth house. And at the same time, Mercury goes out of bound as well on 11 degree of Gemini. So Venus in your ninth house is a bit of a blind spot right now when it comes to overestimating, for example, how strong you are, or how physically well sound you are. Or you might fall in love with a coworker, for example, or you might fall in love with an idealized version of a plan, and you might get kind of swept up in a work situation, for example. Watch out, you can easily make a mistake when you are booking a ticket, for example. This might be telling you not to take huge risks and invest money into something. It could be promises that you are being made, but they might not be delivered, or things are not what they seem. Mercury goes out of bound for the next few weeks. The planet of communication is completely operating off the grid in your eighth house. So your intuition and ability to read between the lines are pretty much on steroids, really. You will have kind of like a very fixated approach to uncovering secrets, doing research, talking about taboos, coming up with unconventional financial strategies as well. Think of it this way: your words kind of become a scalpel right now. So use this power very wisely. The Sun makes a sextile to Neptune, and that might be clearing the fog and letting you see the actual truth behind potential illusions that you have created earlier this week connected to work or even your health situation as well. But the Sun is going to be squaring the nodes as well at the same time, while Mars sextile the nodes too. So this is a vital crossroad for you. The South Node in your 11th house has made you over reliant on how appreciated you are, on social validation, maybe micromanaging your online platforms, micromanaging your networks, and trying to make your dreams look perfect. But the sun in your eighth house is demanding deep, raw, uncompromised intimacy and certain type of transformation as well. It says you cannot let the fears or opinions of the collective dictate what you create. Mars in your seventh house is helping you by trining the South Node, meaning that your current partners and public contracts actually gives you the leverage that you need. You can use that stable partnership energy to step fully into your fifth house North Node path, which is about being authentic, intuitive self-expression, art, joy. It is somehow telling you that you have to be able to please yourself rather than just wanting to please others all the time. Now, the big hit for you is the clash of your rulers, Mars square Pluto. And imagine that as a black hole absorbing something. May 26 is probably the most explosive day of the year. Uh, uh, this is a power struggle between your relationships and your home, family, and your deeper psychological foundations. Imagine a partner or an opponent might be acting incredibly stubborn, that's Mars in Taurus, trying to force a result or dig their heels in. Meanwhile, Pluto in your fourth house is unearthing old family shadows, childhood resentments, control issues within the home environment. The risk here is the total destruction of a bridge out uh, due to stubbornness, really. The saving grace is that the sun trines Pluto on the exact day. So it's like an escape hatch is your psychological brilliance. It says there's no point in screaming or like the battle of wheels. Instead, I'm going to be stepping back into that eighth house, the house of observation. And I'm going to use the words to reframe the psychological dynamics there. And by using psychology and words, we can disarm the entire argument by exposing the hidden truth. behind the situation. Now, Venus is also squaring Pallas Athene on the very same day as well. That's your ninth and sixth house. So your grand philosophical vision are very much clashing with boring, tedious logistics of your daily workload. So you have to balance your big dreams with kind of like the practical steps required to execute those big dreams. Um, Pallas Athene is about coming up with a plan. So because Venus is your relationship planet, and Mars is squaring Pluto also from your seventh house, this could be something like we don't agree on how to function on a day-to-day basis, for example, in a partnership. But Sun makes a sextile to Vesta. And again, this connects your eighth house, the house of deep transformation and shared assets, to your daily wellness, rituals, and job habits. So this is a spectacular day for physical or psychological recovery. I'm sorry about that. It's about dedicating your daily routines to deep healing work, certain type of release, financial restructuring. So the sacred focus is towards your daily habits, your ability to handle deep emotional transformation. It's about feeling empowered as well. But it's a very heavy sixth house, so you can have a very heavy workload, and that's why you're gonna have to be able to kind of anchor your body perfectly before actually storms arrive. And that storm is going to be the Uranus and North Node, South Node square. So this entire week is more of an initiation. Every single these stakes aspect, from the unexpected financial shocks of that Sun and Uranus, or the brutal ego battles of Mars Pluto square, is just showing you exactly where you are holding on to out of fear. So the universe is demanding that you clear this clutter of other people's expectations and focus on your authentic joy. Because next month, Uranus is going to square your nodal axis and create that massive sudden disruption in your creative and social sectors. So if you do the raw internal clearing work now, June will bring a brilliant creative breakthrough, financial breakthrough most likely, or you are going to be walking out of a relationship that you feel like potentially not serving your growth anymore. Or simply you are going to be brave enough to step into a relationship. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button, trust your internal radar, and I will see you in the next deep dive. Good luck, Scorpio rising. Bye bye.